are a go. Episode 3.
I can't believe it's already episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3 Quick Chat Podcast.
That's crazy.
3 weeks in.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Came a long way.
I'm excited. That's like, it makes me feel good. Makes
Yeah.
me feel accomplished.
Yeah, we have accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
We've
grown a lot.
yeah, we've been acclimating very well.
Definitely.
To
The
this new
adjustment
lifestyle.
period. The adjustment period is ending. Sorry, I'm just looking at the volumes.
We got our producer Sam over here.
Producer / co-host. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a new producer
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, need one. If anybody out here can produce anything other than shit garbage, hit us up. And you want to do it for free.
Yeah.
We don't have any money yet.
And remotely.
Okay, so episode 3. Last week, we were talking about a lot of the process with uploading the first episode and a couple of our first hikes. Yesterday, we just went on, definitely, without a doubt, the best hike of the trip.
The hikes have followed along with our personal growth.
Mhm.
Like, we were just saying, like, the adjustment period's kind of ending. The hikes are getting real.
Definitely getting real. This last one we hiked up, we saw definitely the bluest water I've ever seen in my life. When we showed up, I actually made a comment. We'll tell you the story, but just to give you guys an idea about how crazy this spot was, we pulled up and I said it looks like somebody dumped Gatorade in the lake, and then Sam looks over at me and he's like, "They call it Glacier Freeze." It all makes sense now. It literally looks like they dumped Glacier Freeze Gatorade into the lake. We went to Cracker Lake, so look up a picture of Cracker Lake if you don't follow us on Instagram, which that's stupid.
That is dumb.
At the Hank of America, at Touchgrass365. Follow us on our Instagrams to see pictures of that lake. But if for some reason you don't have Instagram, definitely look at a picture of that lake. It looks amazing.
Yeah, don't Google it. Just look at our Instagram. That would be dumb.
Yeah, that would be dumb. You hear it from the producer.
Yeah.
So give them a little rundown of the start. There was 4 separate awesome spots that we stopped at on this hike. So
yeah, we had a little creative help from this fun guy that we had.
Yeah.
Along with us.
Yeah,
those really fun guy.
Fun guys.
So we start off the hike, kind of just vibing, doing our thing, and we come across this little stream, and there's this 2 logs crossing the stream perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Henry just takes a little squat down on the log, and obviously this is a trail, so there's people coming and going, and I'm like, Henry, get up, you gotta let this guy pass on the bridge. And Henry gives me this look of like, why would you ask me to move right now?
I was pissed.
He was like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, bro, you're sitting on the bridge. And afterwards he was like, I totally just thought that was a log.
Yeah.
Laying there, like God put it perfectly across the stream.
Yeah. I totally was. I was in my own world right there. I mean, the stream flowing, you have one of those like meditative sounds where you could easily just slip into your head, and I did not want to move. Like if I had been forced to sit there all day, you would have heard 0 complaints out of me all day.
I don't think you could have been forced. You were happy to sit there the whole time.
Yeah. Bliss.
It was really nice, and I kind of realized like water makes so many different sounds. It can be super relaxing, like the slow little like dribbling kind of like of a babbling. That's it. Babbling. That's the word. A babbling brook. Super relaxing. Most relaxing sound ever. And then you get one of these rapid sections here, and it's angry. It sounds angry.
Yeah,
it's super loud.
Violent.
Yeah,
you
violent.
Go from the most relaxing thing ever to sound of impeding doom.
Yeah, like you don't want to mess with the rapids, but a babbling brook, like you could just sit there and meditate to that all day.
Totally. So, I mean, we probably sat at that creek for maybe up to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it felt like up to like a half an hour.
I think each stop progressively got longer.
Yeah. So then we left the creek. We went up a series of switchbacks in the middle of the forest. It was a great vibe. One thing about this hike that was awesome is each section of the hike had like a different, I want to say biome. I know that's not the right word, but like each one had a different feel to it. So this was a really heavily wooded area.
I'm gonna flex my environmental science degree real quick.
Let's hear it.
The technical term is ecotone.
Eco what?
Ecotone.
Ecotone?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard that word in my life. So
There
you go. That's why he's here, folks. That's why he's on the trip.
Educational and entertaining.
Get you a guy that can do it both. So we walked through that. That was really nice and beautiful. We were chatting it up, and then we got to this overlook, this like kind of cliffside on the final switchback of that ecotone. And it just let out, like the ground had given away. There was a creek at the bottom, bunch of rocks and trees that had fallen in, and then there was a heavily wooded area with just this beautiful mountainscape on in the background. And for some reason, something about that, we sat there for a few minutes, and something about that place just sparked the funniest conversation we've ever had. There was almost nothing funny about it, yet it was the most hilarious thing I've ever heard.
Do you remember what the original like spark was? I do.
Well, you tell me. I don't remember.
So you were telling me how the mountain looked like you could see like Chief Osceola up there with the horse, and then I pointed out to him that the trees at the bottom of that cliff that we were looking at were absolutely so small, and then we were laughing about the fact that the guy on the horse would literally just look like a speck.
Yeah, you'd not be able to see him, even though when you look up, you feel like you'd be able to see the whole guy.
Yeah, you'd see the guy, the horse, the spirit, everything. It would be like this powerful moment, but really it would just be like a speck. You couldn't make out any of it.
Yeah, so we found that to be very funny.
Yeah.
And then we were making comments just about the environment, and then we were talking about how the wind was blowing through and how the wild was very it was sharp. It was a different type of wind than like a relaxing sea breeze.
Totally different.
And so then we happened to come across the most hilarious phrase ever, the most hilarious thing ever, which is two simple words. It's come correct.
I mean, like, really just think about that. Like, who came up with that? Come correct?
Yeah, like, you better come correct. Like,
that's got one of the best double meanings of all time.
Yeah, we were joking about it, too, while we were there. We were like, if you just said those words in just, like, a random other context, it's, like, not even funny. But to us, in that moment, and, like, thinking about the first person to ever say that, and, like, just how it sounds, like, we were howling. We were howling. Like, all the animals in the nearby area were, like, sprinting away from us. They thought we were, like, a deadly predator, just, like, how loudly we were going at it.
That was funny. Because come correct is, like, the way that we originally thought of it was, like, it's a intimidation phrase. Like, oh, you better come correct. Like, step to me kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And go with, like, that background guy bit that you had.
Say that again?
When you were talking about how the hype man was like all hyped up about it.
Oh, yeah. So we think it's we're, like, imagining the intimidation piece, and then I, like, immediately get this image in my head, this, like, vivid scene where it's, like, this scene out of a movie. It's this guy, and he's like a gangster or, like, a mob boss or something, and he's, like, intimidating the young new guy on the scene who, like, fucked up or, like, didn't come correct, basically. Didn't show the respect. And so I just imagine this hype man, this enforcer type guy, like, standing right over his shoulder, like, yeah, that's right, little punk. Like, you better watch how you speak. And then the big mob boss is like, hey, you better come correct, little boy. And then all of a sudden the mob boss's enforcer's like on the side, like, yeah, and he's like, oh,
pause, G.
That's how you said that.
That's what you went with.
That's what you went with right there. Wow. I might need to look for a new employer. I don't know if I'm fucking with this guy anymore.
An all-time pause.
All-time pause.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So, I mean.
But anyway, you probably had to be there for it. It was
This is you're probably just listening to this like, these guys are literally stupid as hell.
Yeah. You don't have the fun guy on your team either. So
yeah, you need the fun guy.
Yeah.
That makes everything better.
Mm-hmm.
Everything better.
So after that, we kept hiking, and this hike was beautiful. Like, just through every kind of ecotone that you could possibly imagine.
Let me write that down.
It was through like a ravine, like up a mountain pass kind of a thing. So we got streams, we got forests, we got meadows, we got like subalpine little like gravelly shale bits there where we saw the
yeah.
mountain goat.
Yep.
And the whole thing was
That-
extremely, felt like there was bears everywhere.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's a little foreshadow.
Yeah, foreshadow.
And we get to another stream, and this one was a bit more on the violent side, but not too violent. It was relaxing. Good midway point between violent and relaxing.
So this was our third stopping point.
Yeah.
Where we hung out for a little bit.
The Babbling Brook was just up the road from this sub-violent stream.
Sub-violent stream. Yeah, I mean we both. I popped a squat. You were standing on that rock that was jutting out
Yeah.
into the stream a
It
little
was
bit.
sick.
It was great. You could really just like, I kept imagining just like replacing thoughts with the sound of the river.
Oh,
like that's
wow.
the best way I could describe that. It's like you just stop thinking, and all of a sudden, in place of like hearing all of that, you just hear the rushing water. Ugh.
It's nice to have a mental image for what you were thinking about, because I was standing on my little island rock and I was like singing Life Got Crazy by Mike in my head, and how it was just kind of like a good vibe for what I'm on. Like, we're making this podcast on this trip, like life is getting crazy. And I was literally like laughing to myself how perfectly it fit. And I turned over and I look at Henry, and he's sitting on his rock like this. It's like staring at the brook.
Jaw slapped.
Yeah, just
on the
like,
floor.
totally entranced. And that makes sense now. Like, he was replacing all of his thoughts and mental capacity with sound.
With sound.
with
yeah.
sound from this,
With
from the
flowing
stream.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a very funny moment. And
That was a great.
great
that was
stop.
a great stop.
yeah,
Each
we were there
stop-
for a long time.
Yeah. Each stop increasingly got like more awesome.
Vibey.
More
Yeah.
vibey. Yeah. So so then we leave that spot. Eventually Sam's like, "Yo, we probably got to pack up and keep moving if we
Yeah,
want."
it was like 2:00, and the sun goes down here around 7, and I had no idea how far we were from the lake.
Yeah.
And I knew we wanted to eat at the lake, that kind of thing. So we decided to step to it and keep
Mhm.
going on the trail. And some guy gave us a tip. He was like, the lake looks better today.
Yeah, it looks better overcast.
On an overcast day. So we were like, oh, sweet. Like, this guy just saw the lake. We're close.
Yeah, we must be like almost there.
Yeah.
Eh.
That was like 2 miles out of 6 miles into the hike. Like,
Yeah.
there was at least half the hike left when he said that to us.
Yeah.
So it was one of those hikes that felt like it just like kept going and going.
Mhm.
But it was a beautiful time, so wasn't mad about it. And
Yeah,
it wasn't
didn't
too
mind.
steep like that first loop trail that we did,
Yeah.
that we talked about last week, so we weren't dying. And eventually we get pretty close to the lake, and somebody mentions the fact that they saw a bear up and to the right on like one of the alpine meadows or whatever, and he mentioned that it was coming down to the trail, but probably wasn't gonna be a problem. There's
Yeah.
bears on the mountainside all the time, as we've learned. And we're like, all right, cool, like hopefully we'll get to see this bear from a distance. That'll be fun. And we just keep hiking. I guess that's really the story. We just
Yeah.
keep hiking on that, and
I mean, it's beautiful the whole time.
Yeah.
We're soaking it all in.
and it kind of like goes into this horseshoe shape. Like, we get to the end of this ravine, and it kind of horseshoes out, and there's like some glaciers and stuff. Really beautiful meadows and all that crap around me. That fly's gonna die. But
It's fucking up the flow.
yeah. So we get up there. How did we first? Oh, okay. We come around this bend, and we were talking to this guy in the parking lot, who
Yeah.
was from Massachusetts, or he was from Mass, lives in Florida now. So like we had a little bit of a connection.
Yeah.
And he was heading up the trail, but he said he was gonna be slow. So we were like, all right, yeah, we'll see you up there. And we come around this turn, and these people just got charged by a grizzly bear. Like, you guys got to be careful. He's up there.
And 2 cubs.
Yeah, and 2 cubs. And I was like, sweet, like, we're definitely going to see a bear right now.
Yeah.
And I was pumped because I'm, like, obsessed with bears and I want to see
This
one.
dude's a bear freak.
Yeah, fanatic. And The next person we talked to is our boy from the parking lot, and
Yeah.
he was the guy that got charged.
Yeah.
And he was telling us we missed it by maybe 5 minutes.
Max. He was like, you guys just missed it.
Yeah, he literally just got charged. I found I found someone's bear spray like safety on the ground. So
Yeah.
everybody was like ready to go.
Yeah, they had their hand on the stick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
Hand on their holster.
you could see in their faces when they were talking to us, they were like sweating. They had panic in their eyes.
Yeah.
It was an intense vibe for them. I could tell.
Yeah.
But they were telling us that the bear was just over the ridge, and I was like, all right, I'm not leaving here until I see this bear. Like, I'm gonna find this. So we go up to like this overlook, and on the way to the overlook, we see the bear has dug out a massive hole right next to the pit toilet.
Yep. Big hole.
Big hole, big animal, powerful, moving massive amounts of earth.
Looks like a small bulldozer basically made that hole.
Yeah, you would, if you saw it, you would expect that humans used machinery
Yes.
for that, not like a shovel.
Yeah.
So we get up to that, and that's kind of freaky. Like, even though we know the bear's gone, you kind of have like this vibe. Like, you could tell the bear was there.
Yeah.
And,
Recently.
yeah. Like within 20
Ground's,
minutes.
like freshly dug up.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. So that was cool to see, and a little bit jarring, but
Mm-hmm.
kind of like satisfied me a little bit for like a bear encounter, somewhat, and enough to at least not make me mad that I missed it.
Yeah.
So we get up to this overlook. We have a great lunch, staring at this blue water, the glacier freeze water
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
that is actually made after the Gatorade. The Gatorade came first.
Yeah, Gatorade came first and the lake copied it.
Yeah, yeah. So
We had lunch up there.
yeah, we had a
Best sandwich ever.
best turkey sandwich, even though the meat was wet when we took it out
Meat
of the
was
bag.
wet. Didn't have any cheese.
Yeah, you know, wet meat is a bad thing. Wet cold cuts, bad.
Yeah. Not great.
That is a bad sandwich.
But I'll tell you what, that shit tasted
Yeah.
fire with that view.
Oh, it was so
I
good.
could not. I was like trying to eat it slowly. I was like, I don't want to inhale this. It's like the
After a
best thing ever.
6-mile hike, I think anything would taste good.
Yeah.
So, eventually, these other people come up and kind of destroy our great vibe of a lunch.
Yeah, the silver lining
Yeah, go ahead.
of us missing the bear was that everybody else was obsessed with the bear / was frightened away by the bear. So we got this lake. We got this this whole, like, what would you call it? That like bowl.
Yeah, bowl is a good way to describe it.
We got that whole bowl with the lake and all the mountains, and like the clouds are like just at the top of the mountains. You can
Yeah.
not see the top of the mountains. Like, it was a gorgeous spot, and we got it all to ourselves for like 20 minutes. Like, you could not see anybody. We're just sitting up there eating our sandwich. No other humans for a good 15, 20 minutes. Fantastic experience. And then we saw these people come up. They set off the vibes. We're like, okay, like, we've already eaten our lunch. We're good here. We're going to head back. They also gave us a heads up that the bear had headed up the ridge and was off of the trail, so it was supposedly supposed to be safe for us to go back. But as we're going back, like, we stopped by the shore, kind of checked out the water a little bit, and then as we're heading back, we're going into this set of switchbacks with very dense kind of brush forest, like
Perfect bear spot.
perfect bear spot, lots of berries, lots of clumps of berries, and we're like, okay, like, the bear could very well be behind any of these
Super
corners.
dense. There's little like washouts that like glacial melt probably or snow melt had like washed out, so there's all these stream beds that it could have been hiding in. It was a nightmare
Yeah,
for human versus bear. Bear was
human-
at a huge advantage here.
it felt like we were in the first Predator movie.
Yeah.
And it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger and like his one other boy when they're towards the end, and they're literally just like trying to make it out of that forest. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's exactly how it felt.
we
We were
had
being
our-
hunted.
yeah, we had our bear spray like unclipped in the hand, ready to go, and we're going through this switchback section, and we just get into it, like maybe a couple minutes walking through it, and there's a fresh bear hole on the trail that had not been there when we were walking towards the lake.
Yeah.
So we're walking through, and we're like, oh shit. Like,
I was-
the bear was very recently right here.
I was literally walking up to it, and I almost didn't even realize what was going on or what it was until I was very close to it, and
Yeah.
it kind of just struck me. I was like, "Fuck!" Like I literally was like, "That's bad.
Yeah.
That is really bad."
It went from like just a euphoric feeling looking over the blue lake to like legitimately there is a massive predator that could be right here.
There's a angry sow a female grizzly bear, with 2 cubs. The worst kind of bear to run into that has already had 2 encounters with people and bluff charged one group.
Yeah.
They don't bluff twice. In case that's a little bear fact for you.
Bear fact.
They don't bluff twice. So we were running into a bad spot. If we had come across it, we would have had to bear spray and we probably would have had to fight the bear.
Yeah.
It was not going to end well.
Yeah, we were actually, and like that next 20-minute stretch, we were on edge,
Yeah.
very alert and aware, because
Making tons of noise.
like, if you were hiking like around us and there wasn't a bear, like any of that, you would have been like, these guys need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like they won't stop talking.
We were talking to the bear. We were like, what did we say? We come in peace, not pieces.
We come in peace, not pieces.
You better come correct.
Better come correct. We know your homies Smokey and Yogi. Like they're great people. They love us. Goldilocks is a dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck Goldilocks.
We can both have good days.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you just stay away from us.
let's just have great days.
Yeah.
Let's keep the vibes high.
No need to have 2 bad days.
Yeah. So obviously we're still here, so we didn't get mauled by a bear.
Yeah. We didn't even see the bear.
We didn't even see that bear.
Literally,
we did end up seeing a
everybody
bear
else
later.
on that hike had a legitimate close encounter with this bear.
Yeah.
And I, who am like completely obsessed with bears, didn't even get to see it. I didn't even see it, let alone get to experience the bear like they did. I didn't even see it.
That being said, like at one point we were 100% within one football field's distance of that bear.
It was
like,
close by.
Yeah, because when we first walked up, they were like, it's over in this area, which was not far from us.
Yeah. We walked up, we were talking to that first guy. He's like, yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had my
We
back
just
to
couldn't
that
see it.
area, like right over a ridge, and I was like, dick, like, thanks for the heads up. I literally like moved around on the other side of the circle. And I was like, I'm not trying to stand in my back. Like,
Yeah.
it got the heart racing.
It was a bummer not to see it on the way in, but I'm psyched that we didn't see it on the way out.
I agree. It was dangerous to see it on the way out.
Yeah. There was a point where we were like about to head back, and we were like, oh shit, there's actually a bear with her cubs in between us and the car.
Yeah.
And the sun is going to set soon.
Yeah. That was kind of my thought when we were eating lunch. I was like, nice.
Yeah.
Bear between us and the car. That's great.
Yeah. But it ends up being a good story, and it made you feel alive.
Yeah.
Like it made you feel like you've been working to prepare for this.
Yeah.
Basically.
Even though I didn't get the encounter that I have been looking for and waiting for, I feel good about it because I know I'm hot on the trail, and I got a good bear story out of it. So I can at least say that I went to Glacier and got a good bear story.
Yeah.
I'm pretty satisfied with that.
And then, I mean, the trail always goes quicker on the way back than on the way up.
Flew by, especially when the fun guy kind of left us when we had lunch.
The fun guy, he
did his own thing.
He peaced out. He was like, we've had enough fun for today, which was good timing.
Yeah.
But we started walking back, and then as we got, there's probably maybe like a mile left to walk, maybe a little less, and we come across this clearing that we had passed, obviously, on the way up, and Sam spots a little speck out in the distance, which I actually took a picture of. Maybe I'll put it on my Instagram at some point and just circle it so you guys can see what a bear that's like a mile away looks like.
We should put it on the podcast.
Like put it up right here.
Yeah, we could put it up on right here, right now, or we could do just like a story on the podcast Instagram. So I was thinking.
Yeah, so we basically saw this bear, different bear, black bear or a dark-haired grizzly. We're not 100% sure.
It was low light conditions, so like you never really know.
Yeah, but Sam spotted it, and it was basically directly in our path towards the car. So we had like the nerves had calmed. We were like back down to being like normal people. We were just chopping it up again. Like
we were
usual.
figuring out life on the way back.
We had you guys missed out on basically the best conversation ever.
Yeah,
on
I have a
that
couple
walk back.
bullet points we can revisit after the story if we want.
Perfect. So then we basically relive that bear experience where we're like, okay, look, we walk another quarter mile, and then we realize, okay, in this quarter mile, we are going to basically be close to another bear, whether we see it or not. We didn't end up seeing it,
Yeah.
but we were talking to the bear again.
Yeah, we were.
We had the bear spray ready, you know.
And we were walking
Bang
through
on me.
another wicked dense stretch of vegetation there. It was
Mhm.
crazy. Like on both sides, the bushes were over our heads. Like
Yep.
you're in a lose-lose situation there.
Yeah.
You're going to startle the bear in that scenario.
Yeah.
It's just a bad place for a human to be against the bear.
Yeah. There's really so few situations where
It's a good place to
it's
be.
a good place, but those are some of the worst.
Yeah.
What the places we were in were some of the worst.
Come face me in open field combat
Yeah.
so I can see you coming.
Yeah.
Have some respect.
Give me it's like whenever you have like who would win in a fight, Batman v Superman, it's like, give me some prep time.
Yeah.
Does Batman have prep time? It's like, yeah, give me some prep time. Let me have my spray out.
Does he have his time to get kryptonite?
Yeah.
/ bear spray.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me get my tiny little switchblade out.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we made it back to the car. 2-hour drive there, so then we had a 2-hour drive back. Got home and it was dark and we just
Yeah.
knocked out. It was a great day. 10 out of 10 day.
Great day. Whipped
Got-
up some tacos when we got back.
Yeah, fire.
They're good.
Straight meat tacos only because we don't have anything else.
A couple meat cylinders
Meat cylinders.
down down the throat.
Yeah. Pause.
Yeah, I know. I kind of caught it before I said it, and I was
Yeah.
like, I can't pivot.
Yeah,
I
I know.
was too far in.
I heard you lose conviction halfway through that sentence. But yeah, great day. It was awesome. So now we've seen a moose up close. We've seen 2 bears from a distance, and we've been in close proximity to a bear that we didn't see.
Yeah,
So the wildlife is picking up.
definitely
Which
is
is
picking
good.
up. Yeah, it's picking up at a pretty good pace.
It would be a shame to like not have any wildlife stories.
Yeah, we're
after
gonna
2 weeks. in
we'll have
Glacier.
some good ones already from here. We have a couple more hikes we want to do.
Yeah.
A couple more days to do that, and then we're going to the Grand Tetons and Yellowstone, and there's more grizzlies down there.
Yeah.
So
If we don't see a bear here, we should definitely be seeing one in Yellowstone at least.
yeah, I've seen, in my experience, more bears in Yellowstone than here.
Bet.
So
So the bear freak has more chances.
yeah, there's plenty. I'm like, yeah, now that I've had like a close, dangerous encounter with one, I really am like, I'm not trying to force it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it'll happen when it happens. I don't want to fuck with the universe. Hopefully
Yeah.
it gives me a good one
Yeah.
rather than something I have to fight.
Don't poke the universe. The phrase is literally "don't poke the bear,"
Yeah.
but it's
Literally don't poke the bear.
don't poke the bear because then the bear will say "fuck it." You asked for it. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
what
Good life lesson.
Yeah. What were a couple of the points that you remember from our conversation
Okay.
yesterday? Because those are valuable,
So,
at least to us.
all right, one of the ones that we came up with, it was kind of like we came up with it on our own, but it's kind of the main point of Think and Grow Rich. Remember we did that?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about how like I think it was being a leader, but it applies to anything in life where it's like if you truly want to achieve something, if you want to be at a certain status or have a certain amount of money, all you really need to do is cultivate a strong enough desire,
Yeah.
add a little bit of a plan, and then follow through with action.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got it in them to do it, like naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Your natural self is capable of fulfilling any of your desires.
Yeah. Yep. I remember at least I think the specific sentence that we were talking about during that walk was you have to be aware of something. You have to want that thing, and then you have to take steps towards that. And as
Yeah.
long as you follow those 3 simple steps, you will ultimately achieve your goal or something that resembles it. And that sounds so obvious, but so many people try to like hop between one steps or they get them out of order. It would do a lot of people a lot of good to just sit down with a piece of paper, figure out,
Write out your goals.
write out your goals, and then figure out how bad you want them. Like, do you really want it?
Yeah.
And if you really do want it, if you have a goal and you really want it, then you just need to set up a simple plan like what we're doing. We want to be free. We want to be able to control our time, right? So we see that, we want that. And so right now we're just taking one step every day towards that. And the idea is eventually we will achieve it.
Yeah, we're kind of figuring out the how too. Like,
Yeah.
it's becoming more specific as we like the goal is becoming more specific as we go do this. Like,
Yes.
for
Comes
me
more into
personally,
focus.
I'm on the same wave as you where I want freedom over my time. I want to be able to wake up and pursue my best self every day and just in pursuit of actualizing my best self. And the how has always been gray because like how the hell
How do you do that?
how do you do that in society kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I came out here because I came out here because I love nature and I love like going on road trips and I wanted to see the country. But we decided to create out here because creating seems like a good way to achieve that goal of becoming your best self and like
Mhm.
having the freedom. And I started the Instagram and now we're doing the podcast finally. And for me, it's really set in that the podcast is how I want that to happen, is how I want to achieve the freedom and like make it happen for myself.
Mhm.
And yeah, like the podcast flows. Like I feel good. I lose track of time when we're on here.
Yeah.
I feel good. Like I'm not trying at all. I'm just chopping it up with you. And like I've always wanted to start a podcast. Like it's been since my days in high school. Like shout out my high school buddies who know, but I've always wanted this podcast. And
Yeah.
now like actually doing it feels so good. Kind of goes with what you were saying about the other day about how like it's a switch from like hasn't started yet to keep going.
Yeah, it's a different goal every day. What I said was like it feels so much better. It feels so much more feels like relieving and refreshing to have a different mindset. And the difference is being in one groove, being in one track and figuring out how to even get into a different track. That is a very stressful and there's desperation in there and confusion versus when you actually get over there and you start. You just have to start, and then the idea of how do I keep it going? Keeping it going is a much easier thing to think about than how do I start?
You're dealing with facts rather than hypotheticals.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be living in hypotheticals. You want to be taking steps towards something,
Yeah.
living in real life. Because another thing we said was if you stand in place your entire life, all you're going to ever be doing is, what was that word? Thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah.
But there was a better word.
There's a better word. There is a word that describes it. But if you're in one place the entire time, you'll never truly know if this is the way to go or if that's the way to go. If you start taking steps, even if you start walking in the wrong direction, you will find out that it's in the wrong direction, and you will have a better idea of what the right direction is to walk
Exactly.
in.
Because you know this is wrong and you know why it's wrong. Even if you don't
Yes.
know why it's wrong, you know what's missing.
Yes.
Because you've identified that it's wrong.
Right.
So you have a better idea of what needs to happen for it to be right. So yeah, I think that's a big thing for a lot of younger kids, like college kids, because I feel like that's exactly where I was very recently. Because I was like looking at all these options and I was like, which one is right for me?
Yeah.
You're faced with pretty much every option. It's kind of like a curse of having too many options. Like you're privileged to go to college and be able to pick what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
And it's kind of almost like a curse of being like, I could do anything. Like, how am I supposed to pick?
Yeah. The opportunity cost becomes so high that it
Yeah.
can paralyze you.
Yeah. So just picking something, going with it, and like your life is so long. Like, you don't have to stick with anything.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of like set rules that you give yourself that limit you where like you have to like once you pick it then you are like, all right, I need to get a house, I need to get a family, I need to pay my bills, all that crap. But if you just are able to at least limit the amount of bills and responsibilities you have in the beginning, you have the freedom to switch between
Yes.
options. Like, you have the ability to be wrong and then figure out the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really like you got to take the time to figure out yourself and like go try a bunch of different things.
Yeah. Try stuff. And I mean, that kind of goes against what we've been saying recently, where it's like try, and we don't mean try as in like just throw something out there.
Yeah.
It's like do a whole bunch of stuff
Yeah.
and see what feels good
Yeah.
and what feels bad. And then even if you just discover a whole bunch of things that feel bad, at least you know 1,000 things that don't work. Like what who was it? Edison that invented the light bulb. They say that he
10,000 mistakes.
10,000 mistakes before he hit gold, and now nobody on Earth, or at least in America in the first world, doesn't know who Edison is.
Yeah, or
Everybody knows
light
that name.
bulbs.
Yeah,
It's crazy. It's totally right. And it kind of like you were alluding to how it's not like don't try, but it kind of is don't try, because don't try really means don't force.
yeah,
So like if you follow that along through your trying of different things, you find the one that you're not forcing yourself to be. You find the one that fits you, that flows, that you feel good in, and then that's the one that you devote all your time to and really try and make work, even if it's not working right away.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other?
Yeah. So
Tell me, give us one or two more. Of
Yeah,
The
so
best highlights.
we'll hit this one because it was a big one for us, and I think we have a good developed thought on it.
Great.
It's gonna sound controversial, but let us talk about it. There is no evil.
Mm.
Perceived
great.
evil is just the byproduct of other people's action to their benefit, in pursuit of their benefit. They're not thinking, all right, let me fuck over this group of people, but rather, I want to achieve this by any means necessary, and someone just has to get the short end of the stick.
Yes. This was a serious
Yeah,
thought that
we
were
kind of
having.
developed it all day. Like, you started it off with that wake analogy that was
Mhm.
pretty eccentric, but you honed it in by the end.
Yeah, I'll try to paint that picture for you. Imagine that there's a group of people, including yourself, and you're all standing in a still pond with zero movement in the water. And at some point, somebody in the pond decides that they want to move around for whatever reason. Maybe they want a different view, or maybe they just want to be in a different position. They want to be closer to somebody else, anything. And so then they take a step, and that step disrupts the water. So now there's somebody else in the pond who is going to experience the ripples in the water from that other person's movement. And they can choose to interpret this in a bunch of different ways, and they can try to find the source for why these ripples exist. But if this person was to look down towards their feet at the perfectly still pond and enjoy the perfectly still reflection, they would be upset, or they would feel as though they were disrupted in their goal, in their pleasure, by the ripples of somebody else's motion, when that person's motion was not, it had no intention of disrupting the other person. All they wanted was to achieve something different for themselves, or to maybe bring themselves closer to other people, or bring other people to a different position. All of this just goes to say that people experience the side effects of other people's decisions and actions, and they can choose to interpret that in a bunch of different ways. And if they are unable or unwilling to determine the source of these side effects, they could choose to interpret the disruption of their pond, of their perfect still image, as evil done unto them, when really what's happening is somebody else has just taken the initiative to take a step and move in a certain direction, and that by definition creates change, creates ripples, which then affect others either positively or negatively.
There's definitely
hard to grasp, and that's not even the best way to describe it, but that's the initial way that I visualized it. Can you help?
I'm
sharpen
gonna
it?
do my best. The fun guy has a really special way of creating images in your head.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very descriptive man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where this idea of the wake comes from. But generally, kind of what he was saying at the end, it's just no one's out here trying to mess up other people. People are in general are too self-centered to even have the idea of like, I'm gonna purposely go out and mess with these people.
Yes.
Especially bad people, because really bad is just self-centered and going without regard for the rest of society, and like not having the mindset of I'm gonna provide value to everybody else and I'm here to help everybody else. You're kind of just working in a I'm going to attain this for me at the expense of other people, potentially.
That's a great way to say that.
So, yeah, I mean, that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, evil really is more of just it is being selfish or
Egotistical
or narcissistic.
Yeah.
It's that experience rather than bad intention towards others. I think that there's truly so few people, if they even exist at all, that wake up every day and think, I want to hurt someone else.
On a really spiritual level, it's kind of like egotistical behaviors are evil. So feeding into the ego and the ego's desires, feeding the ego too much is evil. Versus this, like, your true, like, self nature, your universal nature, where it's like more of like love and helping others and abundance kind of a thing. So those, like, the evil and the good and the evil, the light and the dark, the Satan and the God kind of a thing. And
then the side effects that those actions produce can be are interpreted by other people as evil and good. When maybe they can't identify the source of those actions and the side effects. They say, well, that's evil because I got the short end of the stick on that, when really this guy didn't mean to do that to you. It's just every action has a long end of the stick and a short end of the stick. Every action does. And so if you find yourself at the short end of the stick and you don't understand why, you would claim that they're evil. And
it all comes at the end of the day back to balancing the two, balancing your, like, feeding your ego and being your best self kind of a thing is really just a balancing act, a yin and a yang. There's two sides to every coin, so you need to
choose which side of the coin you want to be on.
And don't go too heavy on either of these, where, like, no one's trying to be a monk. At least not me. Some people are, and the majority of you listening to this are probably not trying to literally be a monk that goes and lives in a temple and never fucks bitches.
Right.
I'm trying to fuck bitches, so I can't be a monk.
Drink some alcohol.
I like to have fun. A monk that parties. The monk that parties. That's what we're trying to be. So it's a balance of, like, getting back on track after you go on your multi-day bender. And go party in the desert kind of thing.
Go blow yourself up, and then when it's time to put yourself back together, don't ignore that feeling and know how to put yourself back together properly and function properly. You're allowed to go off and fuck off, but just know that you shouldn't always be fucking off, and when you're not, there's a proper way to be.
It feels good to be living right. Too, like, kind of what I was saying a little bit on the other podcast or last week's podcast, where I've been living right, like not drinking, not partying kind of a thing, taking care of my mind for the past 6 months. Like, I'm almost a little bit hesitant to go out and party and, like, do all the things that I used to be doing that are not good for your mind. And then what you were saying on the hike yesterday kind of, like, resolved some of that for me, where you were saying, like, but, like, it's really just about getting back on track after that. And not letting yourself slide too much, even though, like, you'll feel like that feeling that you get afterwards where you're like, damn, like, I'm not on track right now. That's when you have to get back into your routine. Stop the partying, stop the fun, and go do your routine and go to your whatever it takes for you to feel like a monk again.
The Monku parties.
Yeah,
That's the vibe.
that is the vibe.
I think that's a great spot for us to put a pin in it this time.
Yeah, that was a good podcast. Wholesome vibes.
Wholesome vibes. The Monku parties. Great bookmark. I think everybody can take something from that. Everybody can. I mean, if you're partying too much or if you're a little too monkish, and I mean, I don't know if there's such a thing, but if you're like, man, I've been doing all this and
You gotta have fun.
I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah, you gotta
it's
enjoy life.
blow off some steam, bro.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So
The Monku parties. That's a book.
that's
It's
a
a
book.
book
I'm
title.
gonna write that book.
Yeah. That's a beauty.
It's gonna be fire.
All right, guys.
Yeah. As always, love you guys.
Yeah.
Be easy. Leave comments and notes for us. We love hearing everything.
Please, any comments and any notes, tell me how to do my job.
Yeah, please. We're idiots.
Yeah.
So help us out here.
It helps us a lot.
Yeah.
We appreciate all the support,
Yeah.
and we love every one of you guys.
Yeah. All right. Love y'all.
Catch you later.
Peace.